Hey, if you're into trucks and SUVs like I am, and you're passionate about what's going on in the industry, check out this interview. I got Rich Miller in Japan, program director for LCVs for Nissan. We're talking trucks, and we're in Japan. It's awesome. Hey, it's Temestral, Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. I'm in Japan, of all places. We're talking trucks, which you really don't see. But hey, we're here, and it's great to be here. But you know what's interesting here, Rich, is that you're here.
Yeah.
You're not in Nashville. You're not in the cornfield in like Kansas looking for pheasants. So would you tell us what you're absolutely doing in Japan?
Well, what I do here now is I'm the program director for the U.S. Titan and the U.S. Armada, along with the Global Patrol and the Global Safari program. Many people in the U.S. may not have heard of the Patrol or the Safari, but these are large SUV, frame-based SUVs that are built to go anywhere, off-road, primarily sold in Gulf Coast countries in the Middle East. They call them the King of the Desert.
The King of the Desert?
King of the Desert.
Nice. So why is the Patrol such a big vehicle for Nissan?
Well, the Patrol has a long heritage for Nissan. It's actually one of our longest nameplates that we have. I think over 70 years we've been building the Patrol. And it's done many things. It was one of the first vehicles. It was the first vehicle to actually climb Fuji when they brought out the Patrol vehicle. And since then, the heritage has just continued to grow. It's been the ultimate off-road vehicles. If you need to take a vehicle that'll go anywhere, do anything, and get you there and back, people went to the Patrol to do it. That heritage has continued to grow over the years, and now you see the vehicle in places like Abu Dhabi and Dubai, and you'll see all walks of life driving this vehicle, and they love it. They spend their summer times or their off time in the desert, and you see these huge, elaborate desert camps and tents that they set up, and they bring the Patrol brings their family there and their friends and all their equipment, and they'll stay for weeks and weeks on end living in the desert. And it's kind of a neat thing. As an Arizona guy, I enjoy the desert.
Right.
We didn't put tents up in the desert like they do, but these are pretty elaborate, nice tents that they have for living accommodations. So it's kind of neat to see them enjoying it.
And looking at things, so like total sales in the U.S., and we'll talk U.S. because it's the marketplace I have, but the car sales are down dramatically. You were down 17% last year in car sales. The Armada was down 8.5% as well in the U.S. So what are people missing about their Armada in the United States? Why is there a disconnect there?
Well, the Armada, as you know, we just changed over the Armada from the previous generation to this generation a couple years ago, and there's still people finding out about it. This segment, because it is a large vehicle and a big expenditure for families, people aren't buying them every other year. They're going to own these vehicles longer. Most of the time people are using them, owning them 5, 6, 7 years before they come back and get into them. And we see all walks of life buying the vehicle. People with families, but we also see people that are empty nesters but want to use this vehicle instead of a truck. So yes, the segment is kind of stabilized. We're still growing our volume, and our teams there in the U.S. are still looking to get the word out that the Armada is all new. The key thing that we find and we hear from our dealers is once the customer gets in the Armada and drives it, they want it. I mean, it is a step above what they get in the market. The level of quality in the interior and the craftsmanship in the vehicle, couple that with the chassis and powertrain that was built to conquer the deserts of the world, gives them a huge benefit over the other vehicles. But still getting the word out is the key for what we have to do in the U.S. with the Armada.
And you're facing that stiff competition now. So you have the Tahoe, you have the Yukons, the Ford Expedition is new, the Lincoln Navigator is new. What I've always wondered about the segment is, you know, in the truck world, you can buy now a big Platinum Reserve version of the truck, and there's lots of profit there. Mm-hmm. It seems like that would translate in full-size SUV. I mean, they're similar length, they're similar size. But it's always curious to me there's not more players in that full-size three-row SUV. Is that market just not big enough for that many competitors? If we're still worried about gas prices, where are we with that?
Well, the market size is over 300,000 units, and I see it growing a little bit. Some of the competitors you mentioned are coming in with new products. I think the key is how we differentiate our product. And as I said, our vehicle is really going after the go-anywhere, adventurous customer. But it's still not for everybody. I mean, the person who's going to buy the full-size SUV is looking for a vehicle that needs to haul a larger family with equipment, and they normally take their adventure on the road. So it could be hauling a camper, it could be hauling a boat, and then when they get to that destination, they can bring along the adventure with them also. But not everybody is needing that kind of capability in the U.S., and that's why the large SUV segment has done pretty well, which includes the Pathfinder for us and even the Murano to some extent. But there will always be that adventure customer. And so I see this segment continuing to grow. Now, where fuel economy comes in right now, people want better fuel economy, and we're delivering that message, and our competitors are doing the same thing with changing the materials and different powertrains. And we're looking to evolve that also. We've seen that with the Titan, where we brought in diesel engines and more efficient transmissions and gas engines in our vehicles. And we'll continue to look at that. I mean, behind us are electrified vehicles. So there's always study areas that we have to look at, and we have to find the appropriate time to bring those in. And the appropriate time is when the customer wants it. That's the key. When does this customer want this technology and that technology? We can't force this on the customer. They have to be ready for it and be looking for it for us to
Do you find, though, you're making such a capable vehicle, and that's your focus, capable in towing, but yet your competitors do an independent rear suspension. They're doing smaller turbocharged engines in it. They're looking at this market a lot different than what you're describing to me. Do you think that there's two pieces in this market, or do you see it as maybe they're not aiming right?
No, I'm not saying they're not aiming right. It's a big segment. I mean, try and get 300,000 people in the U.S. to agree on the same thing. It's next to impossible. Try and get three. Yeah. But the point is, we have to deliver on what we see for our concept, for our vehicle line, LCV, which is light commercial vehicles, which includes our body and frame SUVs, and what the customer. So we've identified customers and we've identified our own mission, and then we're matching those up. And we see a good link, but it's not necessarily the same as what our competitors see. Okay. In their mission, for what they want to deliver, they're going to identify a different customer. For us, it's about capability and go anywhere, and I keep saying that. That's kind of our own motto for internally that you're going to hear here, is that we want to make vehicles that can do that. And that adventure ready, that mindset, not every customer has. Some customers are, I just got to haul my kids to soccer practice and back. And others are saying, my kids aren't in soccer, they're in scouts. And I got to get them to Lake Wicamichi or whatever and get them there and get them back, and let's take a canoe or let's take the boat and let's go do it. So it's a different mindset that the different companies have, and we're going after different customers.
And speaking of capability, I'm going to have you talk about this for a second. So you and I were in Dallas together when the Pathfinder got launched. Mm-hmm. And looking at sales, you were down 16.7% Pathfinder. And there's a lot of criticism then about how it had gone from a unibody away from the body on frame. And looking at, let's say, the 4Runner in this kind of segment of that is up 16%. Do you think there's a hole in your lineup right now for that smaller body on frame SUV? It's really a throwback. In the market now, you're talking a Bronco coming back. You're talking 4Runner still doing pretty well, even though it's pretty old in its life cycle. Is Nissan missing something there?
I wouldn't necessarily say we're missing. We're identifying if there's opportunities. The Pathfinder from the previous generation to this generation were definitely up. The segment moved, and the customers were demanding something different at the time when we launched that vehicle, probably 6-7 years ago when we were there.
Wow, we've known each other for a little while.
A little while. So the Pathfinder will evolve, and it'll move into different places in our lineup. But we are constantly looking at how the evolution of the customer is, and if there is positions that we can move something else in.
Sure.
Globally, now I know we're just talking about U.S., but globally we have the Terra program, and the Terra program was built off of the global Navara program. And Navara globally is similar to the Frontier, but it's not.
It's different, but it's taller.
Yeah, it's similar, but not the same vehicle. And
it's
the Terra
Dukes
is
of Hazzard. They're the cousins in the other county.
That's right. Interesting that you say Dukes of Hazzard. My kids love that. We watch it all the time here in Japan. But
really?
I digress.
Right, yeah.
So we do see in some of those other markets the need for the body-on-frame SUV. I'm not sure it's the body-on-frame that is what the customer is looking for as much as they're looking for the capability. And that's what we really have to draw out. Is it, if you go back in our history and you look at the Pathfinder, we call it the R50 Pathfinder, and this is the one that we had in 95 to 2000 to 2003. The R50 Pathfinder was a unibody vehicle, but you look at the suspension that we had on that, it was one of the most capable off-road vehicles we've made. And so there's opportunities to do that. You just have to identify what the customers are actually willing to invest their hard-earned money into, and then how do we deliver on that.
Okay, and so let's go to your baby. Let's talk Titan. Because I know you're a truck guy, and I'm a truck guy, and you like to hunt, and I like to hunt. And so let's talk Titan. So you launched Titan a couple years ago. So how would you characterize how that went and where you're at today? I've been a little critical at times, but I'm curious, and looking back now, that you've had some changes in leadership, you've had some changes happen in the marketplace. Things have really changed since that truck had launched. When you look back, what do you think?
Well, I think the product itself, we're very positive on. I mean, when it came out, it was one of the most highest awarded vehicles at the time. Truck of Texas, and we also had the Motor Trend Truck of the Year. Or Truck Trend Truck of the Year. So it was very well received in the media. Our customers, we have very high ratings on customer feedback on the vehicle. Our quality is right on par with where we see the improvements that we wanted from the one generation to the next generation. So from the product side, we see a strong positioning. What we're working on now, and the company is continuing to work on, is how we get our brand message and our vehicle message out to the consumers. The key driver that I'm asking the region back in North America to concentrate on is how do we improve our awareness? How do we improve the customer opinion of the vehicle? And to do that, when I say customer, I mean the segment customer. We have a strong opinion from the customers that are buying the vehicle. What we need to grow is the segment customer. And as you know, the segment customers are very loyal, and we understand that. But we also know these customers are open-minded enough that if they see the vehicle and they hear about it from their friends or other people, acquaintances, they'll listen. The key is how do we get that message across to them so they can sit down in the vehicle and understand what we have. Every vehicle in the segment offers something unique or different to the customers. We offer the Cummins diesel option in our vehicle. We offer our XD vehicle, which gives additional payload with the stability to tow and haul comfortably and safely with the vehicle. We also offer one of the best off-road packages, with the Pro 4X package. It'll go anywhere. I mean, we should go to Moab, Utah sometime and take it probably where it shouldn't go. It gets up into really tight places and it'll keep going.
Great idea.
Good photo ops up on top of the world.
Yeah.
So there's stuff we have to do on the marketing. We're not satisfied with where we're at, but the entire team is dedicated that we're going to continue to push this through, and we're making improvements, and it's evolving, and there'll be changes coming out very quickly that you're gonna get to report on.
Okay. And speaking of XD, looking back on that, do you think there's still that gray space in the marketplace now that you've been 2 years into it? Or do you think that the way capability has grown so much in half tons, has that shrunk that?
Well, it's interesting you say the XD is over 30% of our sales. So it's doing what we planned it to do. Do I think that there is a position there? Absolutely. There is a difference between putting a brochure number of how much I can tow and haul and actually doing it safely and comfortably. It's a big difference. And someone who's towed cotton trailers and towed cattle trailers and hauled heavy loads on vehicles, I know the difference and I can feel the difference. And I think people that get into the XD and haul something with it and then go and haul the same 10,000-pound load with a half-ton truck, you'll tell the difference.
No, you're not talking that fairy dust, the fairy magical dust they put on the numbers?
No.
Okay.
No. There's no fairy dust over here. But that is the key thing. And, when we had the concept and we drove what we could deliver, it was very evident to us. If you're a big hauling guy, you need the mass of the vehicle behind you. There's physics involved with the mass of your trailer versus the mass of your vehicle in front, and that makes a big difference when you're going downhill. Going uphill, we can make a powertrain. Our powertrains are the same between the gas engine and the gas XD, but it's the suspension, it's the frame, it's the axles and the brakes. This is where we want to key in and differentiate. And frankly, if you're hauling around a 5,000-pound trailer or you're not hauling at all, do you really want to put your hard-earned dollars on a piece of equipment that, a bigger frame when you don't need it? When the one that we have is more than capable for what you're hauling at 5,000 pounds or not hauling at all. More than capable. Do you want to spend even more of your hard-earned dollars on it? Versus the guy that's saying, hey, I am towing 10,000 pounds or 11,000 pounds. I'm willing to throw down my dollars on that because I know I'm going to need that. And that's where our mindset is, let's give the guy the choice. Let's give the lady or whoever's driving it the choice. Do you want to pay for that, or do you want to invest in different tire package or something else on the vehicle?
Sure. And how do you think, looking back now, what do you think of the name of Cummins? Do you think it did its job in bringing customers in, or do you think that your competitors now are doing small diesels? Nobody's doing the big diesels. Unless you go, massively big. But do you think it's done the job of pulling those customers in?
Well, yeah. The Cummins name is still one of the strongest brand names out there. But as I mentioned a little bit earlier, our key job is to keep getting the message out there. We're still looking at it and seeing that people don't know that we have the Cummins engine in it. It's surprising to us because, we've had it for 2.5, 3 years now. The customers wouldn't know, but they just don't. I'll tell you, I was up in a place called Tiptonville, Tennessee. It's up where Reelfoot Lake is, and I was up duck hunting, and a gentleman came out and talked to me at the cafe, and I was driving a Titan with a Cummins diesel in it, and he said, that's the best truck you're ever going to own, and he didn't know who I was.
Right.
And it was very interesting. He sold me on the Cummins engine. He says, you have a Cummins in that? I have a Cummins. It's the best truck I've ever owned, and he went on about it, and he goes, the one thing that Nissan needs to know is that nobody knows this truck exists. He goes, I'm up here in Lake County, Tennessee, and I'm the only one up here that knows that this engine's like this. And I think that's one of the jobs we have to do. And it gets it's refreshing for me. He doesn't know who I am. Right. Afterwards, he wanted to get my email because he had a lot more to talk to me about, but still.
Yeah, those emails you get, by the way, are like...
It's nice to hear, but we have to get more of those ambassadors out there. That's the key for us.
Yeah, I tell people that I don't really do breaking news on my channel because the truck customer comes back segment 2 years, 3 years down the road. They take the mindset they've had and then they apply it 2-3 years later. Mm-hmm. And that's when they come back to it. So it is very difficult to get your name out there and really get your mission out there.
Yeah. Well, it's a constant mission because, like you said, people come back into the market to buy another vehicle. It's not every day. It's not every 2 to 3 years. These vehicles are expensive, right. And it's an investment for customers. And so when they come back, they want to see what's new and what's great. They're not following it necessarily every week. Now, of course, I'm sure your fans, they listen every week.
Every video I get tons of views.
Yeah. So they're keeping up with the industry through your podcasts and listening to you and your video cast. But other customers are saying, I'm just driving the truck. In 5 years, I'm going to come back. I'm going to see what's out there. And so we have to have a constant message going in order to keep on the list of those people as they come back to purchase their next vehicle.
Now, you have a commercial grade of the Titan. And what I wonder is if that's a big player to you moving forward, because commercially, that's where a lot of guys learn about trucks. They learn about trucks in their job site. They learn about trucks in their company. So do you think that, looking forward, is that going to continue to be a perfect focus?
Well, yeah, the light commercial vehicle division that we have and that I work here in Yokohama with, it is a major part of the sales and profitability of Nissan globally. And yes, in the U.S. we've invested. We have dealers that are invested in light commercial stores, and they focus on the large vans and small vans and the commercial Titans, and they'll also sell Frontiers and others. But they want to set their sights on the commercial sales. We also have commercial vehicle account managers that are specialized at these dealerships to specialize in selling vehicles to commercial accounts. They go out and find the accounts, and then they work with those accounts to make sure they're happy and we deliver the right product to them. And then we also have truck specialists that we have in each one of the regions. We have regions across the U.S., Mountain Region, Central Region, Northeast, and we have special truck operations managers that go around to the dealers and help them stock the right vehicles and market the vehicle in their area, but go after also these commercial accounts, because you have both. Now, the full-size truck segment is north of 2 million. It was up to 2.3 million units per year. Big chunk of that is personal customers, a big chunk. But the foundation that will always be there is the commercial side. So we won't be ignoring the commercial side. We will try and make sure we focus the market and our product on them.
So being that the truck market's huge and the cars are down, and we're looking at 70% of the market in the U.S. is trucks and 30% is cars, and there's a lot of focus right now on that part of the market. How's your blood pressure these days? Are you doing all right?
I'm all right.
Because now, I mean, you're in a key role now. I mean, not that you were before, but I mean, the pressure on your role has to be increased.
Yeah, there's always pressure on this role. But, no, I think what we're seeing now with the surge in the U.S. of trucks, which includes SUVs, and it includes all SUVs that we have, from the Rogue all the way up to the Armada and the Frontier and Titan and our vans. It's been coming. You know, we saw it before the recession. It was growing. And then in 2008, we saw the shift change when fuel prices skyrocketed. And frankly, it took a lot of us by surprise how quickly the fuel prices could go up in the industry. And we really didn't have the products that were the whole product lineup that was fuel economy focused. Now we have seen that, and you'll see almost all of our vehicles are now fuel economy focused. And by doing that, and you make the vehicles like the Rogue and the Rogue Sport, and even our Kicks, and these are very fuel efficient vehicles that we have with our CVT technology and our efficient engines. You see that we're now able to attract those customers. And that's, I see why you're seeing the expansion of the segment. Because a sedan customer, he'll say, well, I can get the same fuel economy or similar fuel economy now out of the Rogue Sport or the Rogue as I was out of this vehicle, or I can give up a little bit, but look at all the space I have. Look at the four-wheel drive I have. You know, I might live in Arizona, but if I want in Phoenix, and if I want to go to Flagstaff and it's snowing 2 feet up there, I'm not going to be afraid to take my Rogue up there. Where if I was going to take my two-wheel drive sedan up there, yeah, I could do it, but I would be white-knuckling it all the way.
Right.
And where am I going to put my skis? So this is the kind of thing that why I see that SUV segment, you know, kind of growing, because it gives a lot more versatility without giving up the fuel economy. Of course, big trucks, we're looking at the same thing. How do we improve fuel economy? How do we save mass? How do we do all this to deliver a better product for the customer also?
And it's pretty incredible. I mean, you know, my 62 gets 8 miles a gallon, and now
that
we
much.
get 16, 17. So I got to have one last question for you. And it's not going to be a zinger, but I do have to ask. There's so much drama going on in leadership in Nissan. My question for you is, from your role, are you seeing anything as far as limitations in decision-making and new products coming out? Or is it still business as usual, and we're going to have new products coming out on a good cycle?
It's absolutely business as usual. I mean, we have our DOAs and our processes that we have here. And from the program director side, we're still following that process. It's interesting that my team that I work in, our group, our business unit, the Light Commercial Vehicle Business Unit, is a sole alliance business unit. It's the only one we have right now as a business unit that is solely Renault, Mitsubishi, Nissan combined. Ashwani Gupta, who is the head of our business unit, has a hat in each one of those companies. So he has truly made this an alliance. So we can get, and the reason we do it, it's economics. The customer will see the same products from Nissan. We're not changing products or answering their needs. The key is the ability to develop where the expertise is. And Renault has expertise in vans, so let's do it there. And let's use their expertise. And that expertise we can use to the U.S. market, we can use in Brazil and in the Middle East and in France and Germany. We can use that technology to better answer the questions of the customer. For trucks, Nissan, and full-size SUVs, that's where Nissan expertise is. So we will develop and work on these vehicles, and then Mitsubishi is very strong in the compact truck, in the global compact truck world, so their expertise is utilized there. So it really utilizes the full extent of our alliance in this business unit. So from that standpoint, our marching orders have never changed. It doesn't matter what's going on here or there. For us, we are still moving step by step in the way that we were chartered to do.
Fantastic. Thanks, Rich.
Hey, thank you.
All right, here first. We have a Mitsubishi Titan van coming in 2075. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure you follow us on Pickup Truck Talk. It's in Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you type that in, trust me, you'll find us. Hate mail at tim@pickuptrucktalk.com. Thanks for watching. I'll see you down the road.